All right, let's dive into one of the most famous short stories ever written. It's a tale of love, poverty, and what it really, truly means to give a gift.
So this is the final line of O. Henry's The Gift of the Magi, and it's a bit of a puzzle, right? To really get what it means, we've got to go back to the very beginning and meet two young lovers who were, you could say, both foolish and incredibly wise.
But first, let's talk about the author himself, a man whose real life had just as many twists and turns as his stories did. Yeah, so William Sidney Porter, who you probably know as O. Henry, was a master of the short story. After, believe it or not, a stint in prison, he moved to New York City and just started cranking out these witty, heartfelt stories about everyday people. And almost every single one ended with his signature move, a big, ironic twist ending. Okay, so our story kicks off on Christmas Eve. We're in a pretty humble little apartment in New York, and we meet our main characters, Della and Jim Dillingham Young.
And this, right here, is the big problem. After months of saving literally every single penny she could, bulldozing the grocer and the vegetable man and the butcher, Della has a grand total of $1.87 to buy a Christmas present for her husband, Jim.
And listen, she wasn't just after any old gift. She desperately wanted to find something fine and rare, something that felt like it was even close to being worthy of the man she loved so much.
Now here's the thing. Even though they were poor, this couple had two possessions they were incredibly proud of. Jim had this magnificent gold watch, an heirloom passed down from his grandfather. And Della had her hair. It was absolutely stunning, a cascade of brown that went all the way down past her knees. These two treasures are key, because they set the stage for the whole story. With so little money, but so much love, Della realizes there's really only one way she can get Jim the perfect gift. So, in this just lightning bolt of love and determination, Della runs out to a shop and sells her beautiful, long hair to a woman named Madame Sofroni for $20. Then, with that cash in hand, she scours the city until she finds it, a simple, elegant platinum chain for his watch. It costs $21, leaving her with just 87 cents to her name.
But after she does this incredibly selfless thing, this wave of anxiety just washes over her. And it's not even about losing her hair. Her biggest fear is what Jim will think. Will he still find her beautiful? Her only thought is for him.
So Jim comes home from work, and his reaction is, well, it's impossible to read. It's not anger, it's not surprise. He just stares at her. And it terrifies Della. This moment right here leads to the story's legendary reveal. Jim's gift is finally unwrapped. He hands her a package, and inside is this set of absolutely beautiful combs. They're made of pure tortoise shell with little jewels on the rims. The exact combs Della had been admiring for ages in a shop window. Perfect for her magnificent, vanished hair.
And in this just heartbreakingly optimistic moment, she hugs the combs to her chest, the gift she's always dreamed of for the hair she no longer has.
Eagerly, Della then shows him her gift, holding out this perfect, understated chain that's meant for his treasured watch. And here it is, O. Henry's final, masterful twist. Jim sold his own prized possession to buy her the combs, which makes Della's sacrifice and her gift just as useless as his.
So, how are we supposed to feel about this? I mean, was it all just a tragic mistake? Let's break down the big debate over this bittersweet, super ironic ending.
For more than a century now, readers and critics have been asking this very question. Were their gifts a huge success or a complete and total failure?
You know, the debate really boils down to two ways of looking at it. On the one hand, you could say it was a disaster. I mean, they traded priceless things, a family heirloom, and a part of Della herself for stuff they literally can't use. But on the other hand, their actions prove that their love is way more valuable than any possession. From that point of view, the gifts aren't the point. They're just symbols of their devotion.
So, how did this simple little story, which was supposedly written in a hurry for a newspaper deadline, become such a timeless classic?
Well, the story's formula of mutual ironic sacrifice has been told and retold so many times, it's basically a part of our culture. From the honeymooners to Bert and Ernie trading their prized possessions on Sesame Street, the Magi plot is something people recognize even if they've never read the original story.
The story also kind of invites us to look a little deeper at the roles these characters are in. It's really telling that Della's most prized possession is tied to her physical beauty, her hair, while Jim's is this object that represents his family history and heritage. It just adds another layer to what each of them was willing to give up.
And this brings us right back to the meaning of the title. So, the Magi, they were the wise men who brought gifts to the baby Jesus. What O. Henry does here is he redefines the word. He suggests that by sacrificing their greatest treasures for each other, Jim and Della's selfless love makes them the true wise ones.
And so we end right where we started. In O. Henry's view, the fact that the gifts were useless didn't matter at all. Their willingness to sacrifice for each other, to give up everything they had purely out of love, that was the wisest, most valuable gift of all. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Maybe the real value of a gift isn't in how useful it is or what it costs, but in the love and the sacrifice that it represents.